What is up, guys? It's Doo Doo Poker here, back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about 3-bet pot, imposition, pre-flop caller concepts, specifically on the turn, okay? So I'm going to give us, we're on the button, everyone folds to us, we have ace-jack off, okay? Offsuit. Small blind, 3 bets. Big blind folds. Now we can either 4-bet or call. This time we call, okay? The flop comes. Queen of hearts, 4 of clubs, 2 of diamonds, okay? So the first thing we should note here is that this is only bet 62% of the time, okay? So not a range bet, okay? Not a range bet. What do we know about population here? Remember, we have ace-jack offsuit. Okay, what do we know about population? Let's look at MDA for flop. Okay, so we know from MDA, they c-bet 73% of the time on average. Okay, that's too much. They're over c-betting, okay? So this is important. So on this board, we're supposed to go 62. They're going 73 on average. Possibly even ranging if they don't understand the spot, okay? So this is a real hand. So let's go to flop. Our opponent 3-bets us, we call, and he decides to c-bet, bet 50, okay? So he bets 50% on the flop, okay? So against bet 50, our strategy is mixed, okay? So we can either call or we can fold, okay? But we know they over c-bet, right? So that should incentivize us to call. But then we also know they over barrel turn. So that should incentivize us to fold, okay? So there's one data point that makes us want to call and one data point that makes us want to fold, okay? So let's say those are a wash and we decide to call, okay? Wouldn't be much of a hand if we folded on the flop. So he bets 50, okay? We decide to call. Now the turn is interesting. The turn comes a 5 of hearts, okay? So what do we know about double barrels? Well, let's look at the data. The data shows us they're on the high side of GTO when they bet 50, and there's an overfold, okay? So bet 50 flop, bet 50 turn, there's an almost 10% overfold, okay? So you want to be raising turns. You want to be raising turns, okay? So let's say he bets 50 again. We have ace-jack, okay? Now look what theory does. Theory doesn't want a heart in its hand. Why does theory not want a heart in its hand? Well, we want our opponent to have ace-10 of hearts, ace-9 of hearts, ace-8, ace-7, ace-6, right? We want our opponent to have jack-10 of hearts, jack-9 of hearts, all these heart hands that we're ahead of, okay? So, in theory, we get a jamming range on the turn. An ace-jack offsuit with no heart is in that range, okay? We also know from the data that they overfold. There's a 10% overfold, right? So we're incentivized to jam turns, okay? And we know on the flop they're c-betting too much. We also know on the turn they're c-betting too much of their flush draws. Let's look at what theory does. Theory checks ace-jack of hearts. Theory mostly checks king-jack of hearts, okay? Ace-7 of hearts, mostly checked. Ace-8, same thing. Do you think people are really finding these checks? Ace-9 of hearts, pure check. Probably not, right? They're too aggressive with their flush draws, and they're too aggressive with their ace-x. They're too aggressive with ace-king. Okay, so let's say We're button. We decide to jam because we know there's an overfold, right? We know there's an overfold. Okay, see, look at GTO. GTO has them folding 37%. They're folding 48%. So we know this. So we want to exploit their over aggression, okay? Now look at Ace King. Ace King becomes a 0 EV call, okay? Do you think Ace King is calling? Probably not, right? But something funny happens. In the same way that Ace King probably folds, a hand like Ace 8 probably calls, right? Because Ace King might think, oh, he has King Queen, he has a set, right? I only have 4 outs maybe. Whereas if they have a hand like Ace 8 of hearts, Ace 10 of hearts, they know that their heart is good, okay? So we're incentivized to jam turns, all right? So this is an actual hand I played. So in game, I jammed with the Ace of Hearts, which is a mistake because I want him to have Ace of Hearts. But it's not a mistake when you put him to calling with Jack 10 of Hearts, okay? So he called my turn jam with a naked flush draw, and he only had 25% equity, okay? So I got my money in as a 75% favorite. So the range is interesting here because he's probably going to fold Ace King, but he might call a hand like Ace 9 of Hearts or Jack 10 of Hearts. So he's folding better hands sometimes, but he's also calling worse hands sometimes. So the best exploits in poker are based in theory. Now, because I jammed with Ace of Hearts, Jack X, I made a theoretical mistake, right? I made a theoretical mistake. But if you node lock our opponent to calling with hands like Jack 10 of Hearts, barreling pure with hands like Ace King, and folding, then you should always jam your Ace Jack here, okay? The best exploits are always based in theory. We know Ace Jack off with no heart is a mixed jam. Now what we do is we don't RNG, we take all the mixed hands and we make those pure jams. And then we can even take it a step further. We can take Ace of Hearts, Jack X, Ace X, Jack of Hearts, and we can put those into the jamming range as well because they barrel too much and they overfold by 10%. All right, guys? So I thought this was a cool hand. Goes over some important 3-bet pot concepts, especially how population is not constructing their range correctly on the turn. They're too aggressive. We take advantage of their over-aggression, and we jam turns more. All right, so please subscribe to the new channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video.